Let me know once it is visible.
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay, so some ASA operations which are possible, which are unique to Algorand. That is what we are going to discuss. Last time we discussed about how to create an asset and all and what is obtained. So today we are going to have create, we have already done, modify, freeze, revoke or clawback and obtain opt out. Now you will say NFTs we can transfer, we can create an ERC-721 token and we can just transfer to anyone else in the world. Why do we need an opt-in, opt-out procedure? So there is one more kind of, you can say security aspect, you can say an additional feature, which is pretty specific to Algorand as a platform is opt-in. That means you are not able to receive the NFT from me or anyone else if you have not opted in for the same, right? For the same NFT or same asset. If you have opted then and then only you will be able to receive the asset. Either it can be a simple token or an NFT. So there are two operations associated with that. One is opt-in, basically, which will allow you to receive the assets, and the other is opt-out. That means tomorrow you don't want to continue with that asset, you can opt out. Right? Then it is modification of the asset. Now the question is, Mudassir, do you really think that we should allow that modification of assets after we create? Because as far as I know, blockchain does not allow modification.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Like, why we should opt out? Because it's a smart contract, and if we are opt-in, then why do we need? And who will basically manage that thing?
That we will discuss. First of all, let us go step by step. Second thing is modify. So do you
Uh,
really think that modify should be allowed? See,
uh,
basically we are telling that blockchain is an immutable thing, blockchain is an insert only
exactly.
kind of scenario. So you cannot update anything, right? So what
Yes,
exactly
right.
are you, what are the possible updates you can think of?
Maybe if we are doing NFT, so maybe the NFT could be some document which can be updated by time. So that thing, I think that can be updatable or modifiable.
So over here, that is not the case. Over here, what we can do is, let's say we have, because there are four different wallet addresses which are associated with any sort of asset in Algorand. Whenever you create an asset in Algorand, there are some wallets which are already there, right? And which are blank by default. If you want to assign, you can. Otherwise, you cannot. So only those addresses you can modify after creating an asset, right? So let us see that
Okay.
without talking. Let us see whether I am saying it is right or wrong, right? So let me just fire up my terminal. Let me start with algo init so that I can properly create a project. So algo kit init. Then we are going to select the playground one and let's say AlgoGyaan and you can say modify as ASA, something like this, right? So this is what I'm going to create. Let's wait till the time the entire process of creating the virtual environment and other poetry installations. Then it will ask for GitHub. I believe we have done this plenty of times, so now it should not be a challenge for anybody. So automatically we are now able to see the project, a skeleton template which is created for us. So let's go to our favorite folder, playground. Let's go to our favorite code, hello world, and let us go to our demo.py file. And we know that this demo.py, which is basically a hello world deployment, and we are talking about that hello world deployment. So now, first thing, as I said earlier, there are 5 steps involved. Which are the 5 steps involved? So first of all, you can create an asset, then you can modify the asset, then you can say you can opt out of the asset, which Udasi had a question that why do we need to opt out? So opt out, then we have freeze asset, and then at last we have revoke or whatever you want to say, like clawback or revoke. So these are the functions which are allowed anyways after the ASA is created. So first of all, let us start with that particular part of creating an ASA, right? So I've already taken care of the code. So what I'll do is I'll just copy that code over here. So it is easier for for us to understand the code altogether. So I'll paste over here the creation of an asset, right? And over here, I'll go SDK. So let me see if we have to remove that part. No. Oh, okay. I have not imported Algo SDK. So I'll go SDK. And from here, I just need to add Algo SDK as usual. Algo SDK.transaction. And we are good to go. So we have already done this one before also. So today we are going to name this AlgoGyaan, let's say session 7. So session 7. And over here, I can see that AGS 7, something like this. So we are going to create this asset, AGS 7. AlgoGyaan is the asset name, AlgoGyaan session 7. And all the other parameters we know, that's the sender, who is creating the address. So it is already listed over here. How to create an account, which is a default sandbox account. We have already taken care of these things multiple times. So today I'm going to just dig deep into this one. So over here, we also covered this last time when we created an asset. Similar thing, nothing different this time, right? So what I want to showcase is this one. So let me just quickly run this code. Okay, 1.6.0 AlgoKit version is also now available. Don't worry about this error. I already told you before also that this is a separate error which has nothing to do with programming. All right. So guys, over here, I'm able to see one asset is created for me and the asset number is 1118. Right now, we know that how to look at that asset. So let me go to app.devflow. Let me connect to my wallet. So let me just disconnect from here. I can go ahead and check which is the wallet address which created this one. How do I do that? AlgoKit, goal, account, list. This will give me an access to all the 3 accounts which by default Sandbox has created for me, right? And I just need to find out 1118. Yes, this is the one which I've just created. And which is the wallet address? This one, 3W2S6. So I'll quickly go to my dev.flow. I'll try to connect my wallet. I'll go to developer wallets and I need to select this one. All right. So we did that. That wallet is created for us. Now, if I go to created part, you will be able to see that session 7, 1118,000 total supply. Yes, we are able to see that. Now, I want to send this particular token to a different wallet address. So this is my second sandbox wallet address. So I'll just copy that address from here and I'll go to my app.dev. So now if I click over here, or let's say I want to modify the asset, or I want to do anything else, or let's say sand asset. Let's try to do that, whether that works on 10. But it is giving me an error. So what is it error? Obtain. So this is basically an error when you are trying to receive an asset which is not, you have not obtained. So one more security aspect. And why this is done, I'll showcase in a while. So basically what we have done, we have not obtained. So this wallet address C by R has not obtained. That's why we are not able to send. That's okay. We will do that in a while. But then I want to have a modify because we know that modification is possible, freeze, revoke, and all is possible. So let's try to do that modify asset. So Mudasir, would you think that it will allow me to modify the asset? Yes or no?
No,
Why?
because like in the code we haven't managed anything for the modification.
No, it is saying you do not have enough permission to modify. I am the
Yes.
creator of the asset and I don't have the permission. Why?
I think because you have to first assign the address for the modification.
Yes. So not for modification as a manager. So
Yes,
don't
manager
forget
address.
to add the manager address over here while you are creating an asset. If you forgot to do that, it will create a problem for you. You will not be allowed to modify an asset later on. So what needs to be done over here? We need to add the manager. Now, what is the manager over here? We know that account dot address, and we are good to go, right? So over here, if I do that, let us just have this 7.1, right? One more asset we are trying to create. Now let us save this entire file. Let us do one more time. Let us deploy or let us run the code. Let's see what happens this time. Yeah, 112. So a new asset is created for me. Let us just go. Yeah, 7.1 is there. Session 7, 7.1. But this time, over here, you can see that there is no manager, there is no freeze address, there is no flowback address. But here we have manager address. Now, if I go back over here, and if I want to modify, it will open this page for me. So after you create an asset, these are the three things you can modify: reserve, freeze, and clawback. Without that, you will not be, after this, you will not be able to manage anything in terms of asset like total supply ID or total supply or the name or anything. You cannot do that. But you can add this particular wallet addresses later on, right? So that is the modification we can do. Now, let us do that, whether that is possible or not. So what is the ID we have created? 1121. Now I want to add the freeze and clawback addresses to the same NFT. Now let us see how to do that. Okay, meanwhile, guys, these are the basic parameters while you are creating a transaction. You can see that that's an unsigned transaction. Why? Because that needs to be signed with a private key. That's what we have done over here. And then we have submitted the transaction. Nothing else, right? Nothing fancy. Last time we did the same thing. So this time now, I want to now modify. So how will I modify? I'll go quickly to my different file. I'll copy the address from, copy the things from there. Okay, just give me a moment. Yeah. So, right. Now this is for modification. Now again, modification over here, we are doing for 1121. That is the asset for us. But then the first code, the create asset code, I don't want to keep that code anymore. So what will I do? I'm just removing that code because there is too much code today I'm going to do, and it will create unnecessarily clutter for me to explain it, right? So over here, we can see that the transaction has now two different items, freeze and clawback. So these are again the same kind of manager address you are trying to pass with, right? And over here, what we are doing, strict empty address check. Now, why this check is required? Previously, we were not doing that, but now we are doing that. Why? Because it may be possible that somebody tries to find out a zero address or some kind of weird address which is not existing. So to check that, the empty address, that means the the value cannot be empty. And that's what we are talking about in the property of strict empty address check. That is false. And then we are saying index is 1121. What is index now? Index is your asset ID. What is your asset ID? If you go over here, we can see that ID 1121. And if you go and in the deployment segment also, once we deploy, we'll be able to see that asset ID over there also, right? So what I'm doing, normally it is a dynamic thing, but currently we are doing step-by-step process. So I'm integrating directly 1121. Then again, I'm signing the transaction and I'm doing everything else which is required, right? So over here, what am I doing? I'm modifying or I'm adding two different addresses now for freeze and clawback to the same asset. Now let me save the file and let me run this entire thing again.
Why do we need to like this modify function we have to do later on? Why can't we do that in the create asset function?
Because we are humans and to add is human.
Okay.
So basically what happens is sometimes you don't realize that you need all these functionalities. So later on, you want to add, see, basically freeze and clawback you want to have. I'll explain step by step why this can be added later on or this can perform, or you think that, okay, some addresses are right now not needed. You don't want to clutter everything over there. You want to protect some addresses. You want to do that later on. You can do that. Now over here, if you you can say you do that, see, still we are not able to see anything over here, right? Why not anything? Anything is not still visible over here. We are supposed to see freeze and clawback, no? But we are not seeing that freeze and clawback. So how you can see? Go to Explorer, and I have copied the transaction ID which I have generated a transaction hash, and you can see over here, see the freeze account and the clawback. So those are added, but these app.devflow, these are just, it is just displaying the transaction details. So in that transaction, and then when the asset was created, these two items were not there. That's why you are not able to see that. So don't feel that it did not work. It worked. You can see that block number 108, the sender is our address. It is 1121, and we can see that action is reconfiguration. Over here also we can see that it's an asset reconfiguration, right? If you go ahead and copy the previous ID, like this one, which was creation of the asset, and if you go over there and try to find out about information about that transaction, you will see over here, see sender and manager. You will not be able to see the clawback and freeze. Why? Because at that time when we do that, it is again an asset configuration, but with this data. So data for clawback and freeze was not existing. Clear, Mudassir? Anyone else? Anybody else? Because this is important. Something you did not, you missed, or any question? Yeah. All right. So now let us do our third step. So what is the third step?
Guys, you can put your questions in our chat box and we'll pick.
Right. So, but before that, before showing that third part, we know that in order to receive the asset, we need to obtain, right? So we created this asset. We want to send this asset to some address, some different address. So what will I do? First of all, I need that wallet address. So I'll copy this wallet address from here, or I know that already, C by R4. So I'll just switch wallet from here. Switch wallet. I'll go to dev wallet. I'll C by R. And we can see that opted does not have anything. So opt-in asset. Which asset I'm trying to opt-in? 1121, but from the asset ID. So you can see that AlgoGyaan session 7 is presented to us and transaction is successful. So now we can see that 1121 has zero balance of 7.1, the asset which we just create, right? So now what do I need to do that? One more time, switch wallet, go to my actual wallet, which was this one, who was the creator of this wallet address or this ASA. And now I'll send the assets. So if I do over here and let's say 10 and send invalid address. Okay, I copied something else. So
You copied the transaction ID.
Yeah, I'll go to this one and send. So now we are able to see that. And if I go to this process, I believe already we have done. So I'm just quickly finishing that. If I switch wallet, go to my CYR4 and go to opted, I'll be able to see 10. Now, you asked me that why do we need opt out, right? So let's say you are creating a token, or there is some situation with the token and somebody, you can say, transfer the token, maybe unknowingly, maybe some malicious action or something like that happen. In worst case, where you want to take the token back, right? So these two things, opt out and clawback, will help you out in that situation. And that's why over there, if you go to the Algorand page, see, this is the page while they are displaying everything, like transferring an asset, which we have done, freezing an asset, revoking an asset, and again in revoking, and then the last one is opting out an asset. So this means the account will no longer held the asset. The account will no longer be able to receive and also recovers the minimum. That means whatever the account balance they are supposed to do, they are going to retrieve that balance also. But ultimately, they are not going to hold that asset. So typically, let's say some malicious wallet or something like some weird wallet address has entered, and you want to get that token back over here, you can do that. right? So that's how we will see that
Sir, I
what
have
happens to this.
one good question. I
Yeah.
think.
Hmm.
What if the creator will corrupt and he will try to take that asset from the
In that case, nothing can be done because he's the creator of the asset.
yeah. So isn't like it make this thing centralized?
Point is over there. See, when something like this happens, people will lose trust. And if you are
Yeah.
doing a business, you will not do that.
Yes. Yes.
See, in manufacturing world or in anywhere, whenever the person who is doing the manufacturing will never produce a fake product because he otherwise he will cut his own legs. So the
Yes.
fake items are always created by someone else, not by the actual producer. And here we are talking about the actual creator. So he will not do that. He can because he is the creator. He has the manager address. So he can, no doubt about that. Right. But the point
Yeah.
is this will not do that. So an
So
account
basically, these
again,
things are given to that asset creator to get some authority so that he can
some
some maybe some
authority in order
control
to
the
stop,
malicious things.
yes, in
Yeah.
order to stop certain activities being functioned over there. That's what
Yes.
the entire concept of revoking or opting out an asset. So you can directly make that happen, and we will see that opting out is done from our address or from the receiver address. So both the things we will take a look at that who is actually signing the transaction. So you can see that opting out is not cannot be done by, I was trying to explain, but then you raised the question, so I'm doing that. Opting out cannot be done by the creator's address. Opting out is done by receiver address. See who is signing the transaction. Receiver. That means I have opted in and now I'm out. So opting out operation is not done by the creator. It is done by the person who is holding the value. But the clawback one, this one, revoking an asset, that can be done by the main address, right? So that we will see in a while. Now let us go back to our code, and what we are going to do over here now, we have opt-in directly from the app.devflow. Now we need a code to opt out. So let me just delete this modification code first. Where is my modification code? Yes, so here. So I'll just remove the code modification. I'll go back to my different file, this one, and I'll find out the modification, not revoking, opting out. Yeah, this one. So I'll just copy this code, not this one. Yes, from here. Now these are some weird spacing problems. So just give me a moment, guys. It is not accepting the values over here, the AlgoGyaan client and all. So I need to copy everything from there for this particular thing only. Sometimes this Python, this particular issue is creating chaos in the code. Seriously. Just indenting purposes and we are not going to run the code. Nothing else. No serious error. Just
Yes.
indenting
Yes.
is wrong. See, now everything works fine. But now we have multiple variables to do everything. So now I need to make sure that this code does not exist. So I'll just okay. We have stopped that code now. All right. So now let us go to this item of opting out. So from here, this is just old code. But now you can see that I have created one more account. Now this is the account created from Mnemonic. So this is the same function algokit underscore utils dot get account from Mnemonic. And this particular, previously we were getting the default account, but now we are getting like this is your default account. But here this account too basically is getting created from your mnemonic. How to receive that mnemonic? If you go to PowerShell or if you go to any terminal window, and if you fire this command, the address one, you will be able to see that right? So this we have already done. AlgoGyaan goal account export is the command, and then we have to provide the switch. And in the switch, we have to provide the wallet address. And from wallet address, we can see that wonder ride reunion and all. So this is the address CYR4 for which this is the mnemonic. And using that mnemonic, what I have done, I have created an account over there, account 2. Then again the same thing, sender. Then we are doing the SP. Then we are doing the index. Then who is going to receive the address or receive the tokens which we have just passed to them or receive the ASAs. So you can see that the sender is account 2, which is my other account, and receiver is my primary. And then close asset 2, that means we are closing the asset, right? And that we are closing asset to what? To the original address, which is your account dot zero. Zero means the first account 0 address. Over here, what I need to do? 1121, because that is the address what we have just created, right? Now, let me just save this one. Again, you can see that over here, the transaction is not signed by the account. The transaction is signed by the account 2, which is your secondary account's private key. And again, the same process, right? I'm just printing out the transaction ID and the confirmation. So hopefully this will run and without any error and all. Oh, here we have some other error. So what can I do? I can put, now we have one more error. I'm not sure what is this error. Yeah. Yes, it's gone. Still an error. Still anybody? Okay, here. Yes, now everything is gone. You can see that, guys, this has nothing to do with the code. It is just some indenting problem. So I'll just expand the terminal window and I'll run this code. Yep, it is done. We have seen that we have got the transaction ID also. That's okay. I can just copy that. But let us go to app.devflow. Let us see whether we are able to see this particular token of 10 over there or not, right? So now if I just refresh the page, you'll see that you don't have any opt-in assets for now. So this particular wallet from where we have received or we have sent the tokens are now back to the original address. So I'll go to switch wallet. I'll go to dev wallet. Our original wallet address is this one. And if you go to created part, we'll be able to see the tokens are still with there. But again, you will not be able to see any change over here. As I told you, this is just a transaction, right? So which is already fetched and printed over there. So what you can do is go to Explorer, copy paste the transaction hash. Then over here, we can see that it's a transfer function. Our gas fees is this one. Who was the sender? CYR. Who was the receiver? This one. An amount. Again, we have not transferred anything. Why? Because we have said that, okay, we don't want to transfer, but we want to close the amount. So we have closed the amount by 10. So I have whatever token it had automatically transferred back to our system, our original wallet address. So this is how you can opt out from the asset itself, right? All right, guys. Any questions from anyone? Meanwhile, let me just delete this code. Guys, I believe it is a bit tedious, maybe a bit challenging to understand, but this is very, very simple. So don't worry about that. It is the same code which we have done last time also. We are just extending that code, right? So I'm just removing things over here so we don't end up into any other errors. What happened over here? Why is it giving an error? Was not closed. Okay, anyways, we don't need this one, so it's fine. We can just remove that. All right, guys, so we have cleaned the code. Now we know exactly what do we need. What do we need? We need now the clawback function, right? How to receive the token back to the original asset creator. So we need that. We know that it is 1121 already, right? So I'll go back to my code and I'll find out the code for revoking the asset. So revoking the asset again, okay, this is again have the same problem. Okay, let me just do that from the beginning only. Sign transaction and paste. Control C. And over here, let me just then, okay, we can just paste over here. And I can just do a control or shift alter A, and it will just have a multi-line code. Now AlgoGyaan client is missing over here. This is not done. Just a second, guys. Something is wrong with this part. So I just need to uncomment this one, but I need to have the previous one commented, not this one. It is too much code for the code to understand. That's why it is creating this problem. So we can just delete this one. That's fine. One delete and everything goes haywire. I'll not delete anything. I'll just app.spec path. Okay, we have done that. So I'll just do that commenting part over here. Okay, now over here we can see that app.dev.build, everything is there, account is there. Then from here, we can just remove any one of this because there are two same things. But main thing is look at the transaction. So clawback, asset transfer transaction. Here, who is the sender of the transaction? So what is the difference between revoking and opt-out? Opt-out is started by the account which holds the asset, while clawback is started by the account which created the token or asset. So over here, the sender is account.address. SP is your special, the parameters or suggested parameters. Amount 1. So I'm taking 1 back. From where? I'm taking from 1121. And then revocation target is my second wallet address. Which is my second wallet address? From the prompt or from the terminal, which I have copied from the other sandbox environment or other sandbox. So this is my second wallet address. First, the transaction is initiated by what? By the actual creator of the asset. But from where I'm getting back, I'm getting back from the second wallet address, right? So now only thing remaining is we need to again obtain from this particular wallet address. So I'll go to app.devflow. I'll change the wallet address. I'll switch wallet, go to dev wallet. I'll go to this wallet address. I'll go to asset manager. I'll get to go to opted, and then I'll go to opt-in, asset ID 1121. Yes, it is there. Transaction is successful and we are able to see 0. So now we need what? We need some things over there. Otherwise, it will not showcase that something is minus now. So I'll go to again switch wallet, dev wallet. I'll go to my main wallet address, created, and I can have send assets from here. Hopefully, I have copied. No, this is something else. So I'll need the wallet address now. Mudasir, somebody is waiting, please. I did that, don't worry. So I'm transferring 10. Yeah, it is done. So now the other wallet address also has 10, right? So this is all done, taken care of. Now, let us go back to our you can see that the amount I'm getting back is 1. And I'm doing a revocation target. This is one more transaction parameter. What you need to understand is every transaction parameter, every transaction action over here, asset transfer transaction. So if you just hover over there, you will be able to see exactly how many parameters are required. Some things are, you can say mandatory, some parameters are not mandatory. So from here, you will be able to check those particular items. So now let us do the same thing. Let us just save the file and run it. So I'll run this file. Okay, so there is an error. Mudassir, can you look at the error and tell me what is going wrong over here?
Mm, clawback not allowed. Yeah, I think these error we have get in the last session also.
No, last session there was something else. This is a different error altogether. Can anybody tell me what is this error? The code is fine. It is telling bad request. And if I just scroll down now, the entire error is visible. Because while creating the asset, we have not provided the clawback address. Now we will say that we have modified and we have added. Yes, we have added. But I told
Yeah.
you earlier also that it did not modify the actual asset. These are the basic addresses which are given to you. But original address was not original asset when we created. If you want to change that clawback address to something else, you can. But if you have not added this clawback address, you will not be able to do anything over there, right?
Oh, so like while creating the asset, we have to first assign that clawback address.
Yes. So over here, we have not, while creating the asset, we did not assign anything, right? So what can we do over here now? We have to one more time create the asset, right? And then we can execute this code. Then and then only it will work. So I'll quickly go to that original code over there. I hope the create asset code is still there. Yeah, it is still there. So I'll quickly copy that code from there. I'll come back to our code. Or rather, we can create an asset directly from here. No need to copy paste that code. Anyways, this is the address which you are going to do. So create an asset and we can see that all the addresses are given to us. So I can see that it is AlgoGyaan and we have session 7 and unit name is, we are giving a different unit name, right? It is basically something like ALG and S7.2. This is the second address we have done and we create that. So invalid total supply, okay, I'm not given that, 1000 and create. So done, it is taken care of. So now we have added one more asset over here, but now we have clawback address also. But the asset is changed, 1130. But one more thing is again left, what? We have not given any asset to the other address, this newer asset. So what I need to do? Again, switch wallet, go to dev wallet, go to the second wallet address, go to opted, go to opt-in asset, asset ID 1130, and transaction is successful. So come back or copy this address, come back to original wallet, go to created part, then over here, send asset, amount is 100, let's say, hypothetically, send. So we have sent the 100 one. Meet, I'll answer that in a while. 101. So this is 7.2, the asset which we have just created, and we have sent that asset in an amount of 100 to the second typical wallet address, right? Now let us try to run this code again. But this time, instead of 1121, I'll pass the value of 1130 and I'll save this one, right? I'll go back and I'll run. And it is done. So now if I go and check this particular thing over here from this particular transaction ID, let us see that. And if I go my app.devflow, if I go to Explorer part, and if I go over here and enter, we can see that AlgoGyaan, the amount asset transfer, you can see that the action taken place was transferred. Sender was this one. Receiver was also this one. Why? Because the receiver and sender both have the same addresses. It's just third address from where we received this one algo from a different wallet address also. So this is the way you can claw back. You can receive the function back. Now, if you want to go ahead and check the actual asset, you can go ahead and see this one, asset one. If you go ahead and see the transactions over here, you will be able to see that the transactions also take place, right? The accounts and everything over here. We can see the creator and all, right? So again, guys, this is a bit tricky. So anything you missed or anything, any other question, please ask me right away so that I can finish the last part of freezing the assets. Mudassir, any questions? Then I'll answer Meet's question. I believe that that question was everybody's question, that we have modified the asset, we have added the clawback address, but still we were not able to access, we were not able to have the clawback functionality created, right? But now let us take a look. Yes. So can you see the code over here? This is the code for revocation. Mudassir, can you see anywhere over here that the account, actual account and receiver account, both are different things right now, right? So the point over there, when we modified the asset, we have the actual clawback address was nil. That means the asset did not have the clawback functionality. So if you provided, you can modify with a different address, but you cannot blank overwrite. I mean to say, you cannot overwrite a nil account. I hope you are getting my point. So when we created that asset, the clawback was blank. Are you getting my point or not?
Yes.
So when we created the asset over there, what happened? We kept that clawback part blank. But we added the modification. We added that, okay, now these are the addresses. But originally it was blank. So you can modify once it is there. But you cannot add if primarily when you created the asset, it was not there. So you asked a question to me, Mudassir, in the beginning, that why these opt-out and why these all addresses, 4 different addresses, because it may happen that after creating the asset, you want to add a different clawback address. You want to add a different freeze address, or you want to add multiple managers. You can do that later on once you have created the asset with all these 4 wallet addresses, and then you can change later on.
Yeah.
Clear
Now this
now?
make more sense. Yes.
So it takes time, no? Sometimes
Yeah.
when you don't, sometimes you feel that, okay, Sunil is doing something which is he's bluffing. He's not doing a good job. But I
No,
understand
never, sir. I have a
because
full faith on you.
when I started, I thought the same thing, that why? I mean, this is not done. It should be done like this. But then I realized that, okay, this is the reason behind this, so that it is created or it is doing like, it is behaving like this, that after even modifying, we are not able to do that. So you can practice out on your own, you can create an asset, you can change the addresses and see what happens, right? So over here, again, revocation target, we are doing that, and we are getting the address, or we are getting the things back to the original address, and we are done. So basically what we have done, we have created the asset, we have modified the asset, we have clawback, that means revoke the asset also. But then let us check whether it is reflected in the wallet or not. So let us go back to switch wallet. Let us go back to our, this is the wallet address. Let me go to asset manager. Let me go to opted, and we can see that it is 99, right? So guys, once the asset is now taken back from the original creator of the asset, and that's why it is displaying only 99, right? So just remember this one. When you are clawbacking, it is going back. Opted out can have a different functionality, but clawback actually, when in whatever address or whatever account you want to transfer, you can. Clear? Okay, so one last thing for today is remaining is freeze. So let me just remove this code, Control S, and let me go to my other file, and I'll find out the modification code, freezing code. Yeah, over here. This is the freeze code, right? Or this is opt out. Now this is opt out. Freeze is revoking. Yeah, this is the freeze code. Okay, so now we have one last transaction for today. That is basically a revoke or freezing or something. Don't worry about this one. I have actually copied from something. So this is a freeze transaction. We are doing a freeze transaction. We can see that. So we need, what is the current thing? 1130. So that is my index I've given. Target is this one. Freeze is new, freeze state true. That means we have done a freezing operation. Now let me tell you what is a freezing operation. But before that, I'll just execute the code and I'll showcase exactly what's a freezing operation. Now, let us go to app.devflow. I want to show you something. This is the address we have, right? Now we have the third address also in our list, which is done. This is the one, third address. So I can copy that third address. I'll go back to dev.devflow. I can go and check send asset. Let's see whether I'm able to do that or not. One. Of course, right? Because we have not opted, but it is allowed to us. You can see that the error is must obtain, right? So this is allowed. Right now, I'm able to send the addresses. Or I can just copy the other address also, my actual address, who is the creator, right? This one. Let us see whether that works or not. So from here, send assets to the same wallet address, one. Yeah, it worked. So that means it is working fine. We are able to the person who has received the tokens or the ASAs in the respective wallet address is now able to process. That means send. Now, what are we going to do? We are going to do a freeze operation over there so that that particular token or asset will be freezed, right? So now let me just save the code 1130. I believe still that is the thing. Yeah, 1130. Let me extend this one and let me run. Yeah, it worked without any issues. And the transaction, let us check. What is the transaction details? So let us go over here. Let us go to app.devflow. Let us go to Explorer. Let us see over here. And I'm able to see, yes, asset freeze. So configuration, no asset creation. This is the third one, asset freeze. We can see that sender target account is this one. And now we have a new freeze status. So this is particularly a variable. While sending the transaction, we have added this one, target and new freeze state. So target means from which wallet address you want to freeze the tokens, and we are over here, new freeze state, right? Now, again, let's say some hack happened. Somebody illegally transferred some tokens from your account to their account. So you can protect that. You can freeze that particular token in that account that the guy is unable to use. The wallet is unable to use. Then I'll go back to my particular item over here because we have already done that. Let us see whether this worked or not. So let us go to asset manager. Let us go to opted and let us try to do the transaction again of send assets. Let us see the wallet address. No, this is not the wallet address. So yes. Hopefully it should give an error saying that frozen. Clear, guys? So it is frozen. We cannot do, or this particular asset is now frozen in this account. That guy is unable to do anything with this particular asset. Right, Mudassir? You are muted or what? You're not audible. Mudassir, are you there? Yeah, he is there. Okay, guys, then this is the how. As we started earlier, I told you today that we will cover some 4 or 5 operations, and we covered all those operations successfully. We have successfully created an asset, modified the asset, added 2 different addresses. Then we have frozen the asset, then we have opted out the asset, then we have clawback. That means revoke the asset back to the actual creator also. So all these operations are possible while creating an asset, or rather after creating an asset on the Algorand as a platform, right? So over there, we need to remember while creating the asset, you need to make sure that all the addresses, let's say if I do over here, create asset, all these addresses you should add. Whatever from whatever wallet you are creating, all the addresses you should add, irrespective of whether you need or you don't need, because you don't know whether in future you will be able to or you needed all these items or not. Clear? Okay, guys, any questions? We have still 4 minutes to go. Meet or anyone else, any other question from anyone? Meet, can you call Mudassir and check what is wrong with from his side? He's not able to speak or what? Okay, guys, any questions from anyone? Any other? You can put in the chat, I believe, because you are not able to speak, I guess.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like I think there's some problem from my side. So I guess you have cleared all the doubts I had.
Right. So 4 operations we have performed. We have done that. And guys, pretty soon we will have our GitHub repo also. Over there, you will get all the codes which are done in the past 6 and today's 7 sessions. Every code will be over there. You will soon get a link from there. And over there, you will be able to even have the necessary, you can say, text documents also in order to have some sort of small explanation. So creating an asset does not end the entire journey. Later on, see, practically speaking, plenty of guys who have done the Hello World or who have created an asset or an NFT think that they know blockchain, right? But it is not like that. Once you create an asset, the entire journey begins from that. That is just a first step. So you need to make sure that everything you do, you need to understand while creating an asset, what can go wrong after creating an asset. Clear? So again, I mean, it seems there are no questions for today. So thank you very much, guys, for joining the session.